if you're ever doing a thing and you're looking to give to charity,
Yeah.
you can look into it.
Due diligence.
Yeah. And by the way, if a company hasn't filed their 501c3 since
Yeah.
2016,
Yeah.
or if a charity hasn't filed their, hold on, I want to kill this mosquito.
That's my
But,
pet.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I know. Jesus
What's
Christ,
his
that was our
name?
mascot. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was our
But
Patreon subscriber.
He was about to take 10% of your
Yeah,
blood.
yeah.
But like if you're ever like if there's not enough information on there, then like don't give money to that fucking charity. Like
Sure.
there are so many.
Sure.
I'm not saying. By the way, it's a broken system, like every system.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that, and it's insane. I was looking at some, like I don't want to blow up any charities, but I was looking at a certain.
Do it. Fucking sink them.
I don't want
Guns
to.
for kids.
pigs.
Yeah.
Guns for kids.
Yeah.
Guns
That's
for
hilarious.
kids. Yeah.
Is that a real
the
thing?
Child Soldier
What?
Fund? You've
Yeah.
never seen their commercials?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the CSF. They're great. All of their money goes directly to training child
You know,
soldiers.
for the price of a cup of coffee, you can buy a kid a gun in Africa. Did you know that?
Yeah.
A cup of coffee a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
And then
it's
all
insane.
the commercials like sad music and a guy with like an
Yeah,
AK.
yeah.
Just like,
The sad music cuts to a guy with an AK just like
Yeah.
It's really there are real ways to look up what you're, but I was looking at certain charities and I was like, you're making $10 million.
Yeah.
You're giving out $28,000 a year. Like,
Right.
what are you doing?
Right.
Like the biggest, your
and
biggest
CEOs make the same as other CEOs. Like
Yeah.
the heads of the companies are making $300,000 a year.
There is
know?
a big charity,
Yeah.
and they're part of an important cause,
Yeah.
and
Oh, we can say the cause, can't we?
yeah, they're a breast cancer charity.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Ooh, the worst cancer,
they,
by the way.
you know, it's and like there's an amazing breast cancer organization called Sharsheret. This is not them. Like all the small breast cancer organizations are amazing, and then there are a couple of big ones.
They only help out small breasts, is
Yeah.
what you're saying?
I mean, the
I like big titty cancer organizations.
dude.
Big juicy titty cancer organization. That's what I like.
Yeah. Oh, how about exactly a breast cancer organization, but you have to have tits above a certain size for them
Yeah.
to give you money.
Yeah.
Dude,
Alex Edelman
I'm on the
endorses
board.
it.
I don't want any part of this.
I'm on the board, and we decide whether these tits are worth saving.
Jesus Christ.
And the line
And we're not
is,
biased. We've
is
helped out
how
a few guys.
motorboatable they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not approve.
No.
Okay, you're good.
Stop this.
You're good. You're good.
I'm trying to
You're
make an
good.
important point about breast cancer,
Yeah.
and you are making it these sophomore jokes.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
dare you?
Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast, Sophomore Jokes.
Yeah.
with Dan Santiago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And our sponsor, Alex
Yeah.
Edelman.
Never saved anyone from the itty bitty titty
Sponsored by
committee.
Zune.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Are you all right?
Yeah. But the
Okay.
breast. I'm just saying that that there are breast cancer charities that spend a huge amount of money in advertising, and
Yeah.
they're about awareness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and awareness is important in looking for a cancer, but like they just pay a lot of money to their executive.
And
Well,
also,
and
I hate
also,
that-
who do you think the fucking ad companies that they're hiring? Like, it's all. I'm sure it's like this guy's sister's ad company that they give him like $10 million to run these ad campaigns for awareness.
There are charities that are very much centered around nepotism, and they have political connections that they spend a lot of money fostering, and it is like a really. There are also. I'm not. This sounds crazy, but there are for-profit charities. There are charities that that operate under a system where they're not legally 501c3 or something like it's an insane. It is insane that it exists, and it is insane that this stuff happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look into, when I was a kid, I worked at the Boston Red Sox, the baseball team, and I did a little bit of like interning for the Red Sox charity.
Yeah.
And we got to look at all these people who were applying for funds, and some of them I'm like, Jesus Christ, this company makes $1 million a year and has not given to their cause, and they're applying for more money because like.
Well, wasn't that the whole thing? I mean, with Trump, is he also ran a charity, and so what happens
that was
is
insane.
What
He
happens
ran a
is
charity
you
and a
instead
school.
of right,
Yeah.
but you can instead of paying taxes, you can say I gave this much to what's it, a 501(c)(3).
See, a 501c3.
501(c)(3). So then whatever amount you gave, you don't have to pay in taxes, and then they take that money in the charity, and then they just use that to pay salary, which is like his daughter. Right, and then no money ever gets paid out. So
there are a lot of tax loopholes involving charities, and and by the way, met Trump a bunch of times when I was a kid.
Really?
Because
How?
he would come to the Red Sox games to donate to the Jimmy Fund Day, which is a really beloved, revered, and amazing cancer charity for kids in Boston.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox always had a Jimmy Fund Day, and Trump would show up all the time.
Yeah.
And he threw out the first pitch a couple times. And by the way, he was a loser.
Yeah.
No one would talk to Donald Trump. Like, he'd come into the office and like people be sitting around there like, oh, there's Donald Trump. Like, he's a curiosity. No one ever sought out this guy for any sort of excited conversation.
When was this? Was this before The Apprentice?
This is 2000 and before the
This
no.
this is 2018.
When I was a kid, whatever it was.
when he was president already.
It was like 2004, 2005, 2006, and he would come in and he would give money to the Jimmy Fund, but that was also like the Jimmy Fund, everyone was watching that day. It was like the Jimmy Fund telethon.
Right.
So he was basically being like,
he was paying for a spot on TV.
He was paying for a spot on TV.
to like build his brand as like.
But you know what? Your job when you're working on the tricky thing is your job when you're working on the charity side is to make that work.
Of course it is.
It's to raise that money in exchange for the bazillionaire who's going to give you basically his pocket change.
Right.
Yeah.
His, the money that is his default when it comes out of the ATM for him, for them. It's like, so and so is giving us $100,000 and now he's on television.
It's all soul selling at that point. Yeah.
It is, but some of that money it does. One of my favorite jokes, by the way, about charity is there's a comic named Drake Sather who passed away a bunch of years ago, but he had a great joke. He went, I did a benefit for the Ronald McDonald House. Yeah. $600 a plate. And he goes, how big a house does this clown need?
Yeah.
That's so good. You should look that guy up. He is a really dark. He's like a bit like Jesselnick and Mitch Hedberg combined. It's like a really funny dead comic.
Yeah. Nice. All right, cool, man. So we
have we started?
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Yeah.
Let me hit record.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. We accidentally got into a scam talking about charities, which I don't think was even the plan.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it wasn't. But like, I've seen on paper evidence of these crazy scams. And there are some huge charities where I'm like, and by the way, you can get the 501c3 forms for any. Yeah. For any charity. Yeah. And like, by the way, it's got a number that I can't remember that's not 501c3, but everyone has to. Maybe a 1080, I think they're called. I can't remember. But like, I would just I would just check for fun because when I was working for this Red Sox charity, they had access to this database, or it was always on this database. So I'd be like, let's see this famous charity. Oh my God, they don't pay anything. Yeah. Oh my God, let's see this famous charity. Right. Oh my God, they haven't done anything in years. Let's see this. It's usually the small charities that are like 4 dudes in an office. Yeah. Like the CDC Foundation is literally like 2 dudes in a crappy office in Virginia, and the CDC Foundation's nonpartisan and like super, and I say this with like huge love, crazy boring. Like it's the most boring foundation. Yeah. And that's what you want. If a foundation has like a celebrity spokesperson, they
Steve
might be
Aoki.
Like,
the Steve Aoki breast cancer foundation.
Or like PETA or something like that. That's like based on celebrity culture. Then you know it's bad.
I don't like PETA at all. Yeah. I mean, like I don't want, like, I'm sure they do good work, but sometimes I remember reading some stuff about them and I was like, I don't like this. And also I saw some of their forms and I'm like, these guys don't do enough with their money. Like they're weird with their money. Yeah. I don't want to like be sued by PETA.
There's like $80 million on red paint.
Yeah. Wow.
$80 million on clothing for your naked celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Like $80 million on cow blood.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was red paint. Like, no, we're real. We're real, man.
We want to get the message across. We're raising awareness.
But we don't kill the cows. We bleed the cows.
Yeah. And then they die.
Yeah. $12 million on leeches to extract cow blood.
Oh my God.
We have to juice out the leeches like this.
But yeah, man, some charities are a scam, and some charities are like legitimately indispensable, and that people would be dead without them. So it's or like dude, what? I don't know. I feel like
there's a goodness in your heart where you try to believe that at the core of this there is
but dude, like,
a light.
But
and
also
a positivity.
my value system centers around tzedakah. Like my value system centers around this like
Sudoku.
Tzedakah is the Hebrew word for charity, and it's like
You must have known we weren't going to know that.
I did not actually.
Yeah.
For some
Really?
reason, I was like, "This is one of the." It's not top 10 Hebrew words, but it's like in the top 50.
I should
probably.
let you know I'm not Jewish. A lot of people make that mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for people listening, I took my headphones off and pretended to leave.
Okay, but you understand the idea that it's like.
Go ahead. I mean, like I'm down to talk about this.
All right.
It's not.
Maybe you want to talk about tzedakah first.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that like the value, like charity. I can't just be cynical all the way to the end, Santiago.
Yeah.
Like I can't just be like.
Sure you can.
No, you can't. I can be skeptical all the way to the end. Like every system is a broken system. Every system can be improved. I understand that as someone who lives in the modern world. At the same time, I have seen some charities do insane things, like truly incredible things, and like small charities that you'd never dream would be important, or like. I was a hospital clown when I was. I lived in Israel for a little while. I was a hospital clown, and
Is that what they had you do in the army when you were there? Or you're like,
yeah, that's
they're
like
we
you're
can't
a hospital
give us
clown.
the gun. Here's a little fucking red nose.
Dude.
Make everyone laugh.
I was legitimately. I had to put on my own face paint.
Yeah.
I had to like go to this hospital with like
You didn't even get hair and makeup?
No, there was no. But I'm saying no one taught me how to do it.
Right.
Like.
Yeah.
I have the photos.
Was
I
it a
look
Jewish
like
clown? Was it like an anxiety face you painted on, or yeah?
it was. I could not do my own makeup. I looked like a Canadian prime minister on Halloween.
Right.
Like it was really
Wrong color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was all like it was a mess. I tried like a clumsy attempt at like happy makeup,
Yeah.
like a Jewish star on my cheek and something like that.
Yeah.
But
That
like
sounds horrible. Yeah.
it came out like just a mess of like gray.
So you're
Yeah.
just popping into like kids on their kids in the hospital. Here comes this monster with like running
running makeup.
homemade
try and
makeup.
you try and make a Star David balloon. It doesn't work out.
It
Yeah.
really was but it was like a cool, interesting, wrenching experience. And I'm like, dude, some charities do. Also, like, if you're a person and you decide, like, hey, and I'm aware that a lot of people who work in charity aren't this, and you're like, hey, I'm going to devote my life to trying to make one person's life marginally better, like, good for you. I was at a synagogue the other day for, like, I'm doing a corporate at that synagogue in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And they told me they started a homeless shelter back in the 80s. They were the first synagogue to start. They were super proud of it. And I was like, how many people does it, hold?
Yeah.
And they're like 10.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, like, geez, that's a small number of people.
Yeah.
And then I was like walking home and I thought, like, not if you're one of those 10 dudes.
Sure.
Like, if you're one of those 10 dudes, that's huge. And like, I know it's a lot of work, and there are homeless shelters that are thousands and thousands and thousands of beds, and there are people who have way bigger homeless shelters. But I was like, it is like you said about that rich person and that poor person both putting money into like, if they have the resources for 10 homeless people, and they are allocating those resources to 10 homeless people, like, if they have the resources for 25,000 homeless people and they're allocating resources for 10, that's not great. But like, it is a gorgeous thing when someone decides to take. Boy, I'm a comedian. I'm like, this is really earnest.
Meanwhile, like all those 10 homeless people, like they're each getting a mansion, and you're like, dude, spread it out. Yeah.
They get a giant clown house.
Yeah. Big Mom's house.
Big Mom.
I don't know. I just think it's an interesting and very modern set of problems.
Right. I mean, what I was going to say is like having. I don't understand this. I don't know enough about the idea of what's it?
Tzedakah.
Tzedakah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tzed. You have to
Tzedakah.
like a little tzata.
Tzedakah. But like if
You got it.
so I don't know enough about it to speak on that specifically, but if like the central idea of something is charity, then that implies an inherent wealth imbalance. You see what I'm saying?
But
Because you can't really have charity without a wealth imbalance, right?
But Judaism was set up to protect vulnerable people who already existed in systems of inequality, because I think
It's not what I heard.
it's set up to control the
weather, right?
Viacom
Yeah,
weather.
Viacom and the weather. Yeah.
It's the marginalized people who need rain.
Yeah. Now look at all
really
the droughts,
funny.
huh?
Yeah, it's really funny. But yeah, I mean, like charity is set up to address. Like, first of all, one of my issues with, I guess, certain like idealist political systems is that like they're important and they're great.
Communism here.
But like I'm picking any system that is like an even a noble idea that's set up to address like the inherent inequality that has always existed.
Sure.
Those are really important things to work towards.
Yeah.
But also like we need to address like in like the Maslowian hierarchy of needs, like
there's immediate needs that need to be
we
addressed.
need to like it's important that we set up a political system, but also like it's important to set up a system where like Bill Gates isn't making that insane amount of money, but it's also like there's someone in Africa who needs mosquito netting, and like that has to happen. Like that has to happen today. And so like while we address the stuff that absolutely needs, and you're right, it's possible that putting Band-Aids on the problem extend the real the real system. Like that's a really interesting, intense, nuanced
some billionaires like, look, I did the solution. It's like, no, you didn't. Yeah.
Sure, but like at the same time, like this person needs housing now. This person needs mosquito netting now. This person has breast cancer. They need support and community right now.
Right.
So like it's also like if you have charity set up, some charities are like, some charities are great. Like some of the stuff that we love is like, right, like Central Park's a charity, and like it's insane that Central Park gets like $1 bazillion more funding than all of the other New York City parks, and it's basically, but like
classism.
It is classism. Central Park is definitely
for sure,
classism.
because who lives there? Who who enjoys it?
Absolutely,
who looks over it?
Absolutely, and at the same time, it's sort of like. It's for the public,
right?
Like like libraries, like libraries were set up by rich people as a way of just being like, here are poor people, and at the same time, libraries are fucking great.
They needed somewhere for homeless people to masturbate, and they were like, how about we? He's like, I've got it. How about a place where we keep books so no one will be in there, and then we put 3 computers.
I mean, like,
and that's how they invented the library.
A good library is unbelievable, and I've been to so many bad ones.
I went to the New York Public Library. They kicked me out for not masturbating.
They're like, sir, this is a library.
Yes, you're reading too loudly here.
It's the masturbating.
People are trying to masturbate quietly in the room.
The non-masturbation section's downstairs.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never seen anyone masturbate in a library. I feel like I've been deprived.
I thought you were an intellectual.
Oh, I love libraries, but maybe I just live in the moneyed part of Los Angeles where
somebody doesn't like the nonfiction section. Yeah.
Is there a moneyed part of Los Angeles? You go to the fucking Malibu library, and it's just magazines. It's just fashion magazines.
Yeah.
That's all they have there.
It's all magazines about the
Us
Kardashians.
Weekly and Variety
from like 1950. Yeah.
I wonder what the Malibu library. I bet you the Malibu library is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wonder where it is, because that real estate is so expensive. I'm just like, they're like, we don't need a library. People want a library. They go to Santa Monica or Oxnard. They're like, we don't need a library. It's weird because also Malibu's got like the Howard Hughes laboratories.
Right.
So it's like you'll have like a Reality Star Beach home where the jet engine was invented. Right. It's like an insane.
Yeah.
Malibu's a weird.
That's why the celebrities want to live there. They're like big fans of they're big fans of jet engines and
that's so funny.
Yes. Aircraft.
Yeah. There's also Pepperdine, which is like a Jesuit university. Malibu's such a weird. I've never lived in Malibu or anywhere near Malibu, but like it's such a weird like city. I don't even know what it is. Like district, village. I have no clue what Malibu even. Maybe it's a town, but like
neighborhood. Is it?
Yeah, I guess neighborhood, but it's its own place. Like
right.
Malibu, California is its own like if you send a letter to Malibu, it's not LA. It's like Malibu. So I don't really know. I'm trying to parse the urban politics of but yeah, it's a weird, interesting place. I like living in LA. I miss New York a lot, but like I like living out there. Sorry, do you want to talk about the scams?
Let's talk about the scams.
We can.
God, getting lost down a charity hole.
Yeah,
we got very derailed. But wait. When do you need to be out of here? You should definitely have enough time.
I should. I'd love to get out of here around 11:25. If that's okay. I want to do some work before. Is that okay with you guys? Do you have enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
or 11:30, whatever.
Yeah. We're at this, and we usually try to record like an hour 20.
Sure, happy to do that. Let's do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
All right, you got some scams. You have been scammed. You have been party to some scams.
I got scammed.
You're like, I started a charity.
I got
for breast cancer.
I got scammed in Japan.
Yeah.
I was in Japan for the one and only time I've been there, and I got this one. I got tricked into doing this Japanese tea ceremony.
Yeah.
And then
how'd you get tricked into it?
they were like, come in and try this Japanese tea set. And then
like
they
on the street, they were like
on the street.
Yeah.
I got barked in.
Yeah.
To use a comedy club.
They're like, do you want an authentic Japanese
That's
tea
genuinely
ceremony?
what it was
Get
like.
your tea ceremony.
It's just some amateur guy pouring tea, and you're like, this guy stinks.
Oh, but it's like the open
But
mic.
it was beautiful. It was elaborate and gorgeous. And then
You're like, this is coffee. You're like, eh.
and then they're like, it's $300 something.
Whoa.
And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
$300 something. And then
how old were you here?
This was
14.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
2016.
But I don't know your age.
I'm 32 now. I was 27.
Okay. All
Eh,
right.
understandable. Yeah.
So I was like, and the funny thing is, they charged me, and I knew it was a scam, and I was like, worth it.
Oh, you paid?
I paid.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna Also, I was in a strange country, and I did the math. I looked around, and I was like, it's not worth $300 is. Which, by the way, $300 is a lot of money to me, and was a lot of money to me, even more then, because I had never had like a job, and I'd been a professional comic for like 2 years, and it was a 5-day vacation because I couldn't afford anything longer.
Yeah,
and and I was like, $300 is not worth a problem. Like, I don't want to get arrested, and like they made it clear that I was not leaving without paying.
Yeah,
like there were people in this area
like they were gonna beat the shit out of you.
No, just like
it's part of the ceremony.
Just like it wasn't gonna be a fuss-free thing where I could be like, no, thank you, and then just walk out. Like they were like, they were insistent.
Yeah,
and I paid, and I was like, you know what?
Where's my fucking tea money?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I was when I was a kid, I went on a hike in Israel through this cave called Hezekiah's Water Tunnel, and at the end there were all these kids. And they were, adorable kids, Israeli children, and they run up and they asked they're like, can we borrow your flashlight in Hebrew?
Yeah.
And I'm like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, here, take my flashlight. And then a couple minutes later, I'm like, where's my flashlight? And they're like, we lost it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was incensed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, because you knew they just took it.
I knew they just took it. And these kids were like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's my flashlight?
Nice.
Like, I'm holding this kid by the arm. I'm like, where's my flashlight? And he's like, and by the way, they're not even like, we lost it. They're just like, like just shrugging it off.
Yeah. Looks like we took something.
And there was this counselor, Nahum, who was a Duv Divan, which is like worth Googling. It's an intense unit of the Israeli army. Mm-hmm. And he walks over. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, this kid borrowed my flashlight, and he lost it. And Nahum takes this kid out of my hand with his hand.
Yeah.
And he dunks the kid in the end of this. Because it's a water tunnel. There's a pool at the end called the Siloam Pool. And he starts dunking this kid in the Siloam Pool, I swear to God, by his ankle. Yeah. Like he's Achilles' mom. Right. He's just like, where's the flashlight? And the kid's like, ah! And he's like, where's the flashlight? And he's like, give me the flashlight. And then and then some other kid runs up to me, my flashlight, and gives it to me. It was like a really intense. It was such an intense
you got to baptize him. That's how you threaten him.
Yeah, I was like,
stop baptizing me.
That kid's invincible from everything up below the other than his ankle and below. But it was a really weird. It was super odd. But I was upset. But like this guy was like, and he wasn't even that upset. He was just like, where is the flash? Like it's very Israeli. He's like, where's the flashlight? Yeah. Where's the flashlight?
He's bored.
Yeah, he's like, finally an excuse for me to dunk this
kid.
Like,
I've never done this to an Israeli before.
Yeah.
It was clearly as practice.
Yeah.
It was so. But Israel abroad is rife with scams. Obviously.
Oh yeah. Because you're everybody's a sucker when you're not in the country, and if you don't speak the language.
Yeah, you're the most gullible person of all time.
Yeah.
Also, it's set up for like our tourism has different legitimate scams to trap people, but like Italy, Prague has the most interesting scam that I've ever seen, which is there's a currency exchange in the middle of town.
Yeah.
And the exchange rates are wrong. Like they're just wrong.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
They're just insane because it's the most heavily trafficked, so they rely on ignorance. So there was a guy, you can Google
they
this.
rely on convenience, right?
Well, it's not even convenience. They're just like, if you don't know that we are giving you 4 times less than you're supposed to get,
right?
Then you
give them $400, it gives you 3 beans.
And
exactly,
that's what it is.
And it's legal.
Yeah.
But it's entirely legal. So this guy stood around outside the currency exchange. Yeah. There's just a civilian with a sign that said, "This is this is a scam. There's a place, a few," and it was like a big thing. It was a really because he's allowed to do that.
That guy owns another place that scams people slightly less.
I was like, I thought he was like maybe he's paid by the other place to advertise, but no, this dude was just like an offended private citizen.
Was he Czech or he was like a guy on vacation?
I think
he spent his vacation. He got ripped off the first day, ran out of money, and he was like, "Well, I guess this is what I'm doing for the rest of my trip."
That's such a great story. Like that would be a great story.
Like, how was Prague? He was like,
I got revenge for $400.
Maybe that's his vacation, like to unwind. He goes to Prague and tries and make scammers out of business.
There was a guy named Connor Woodman who had a
you're gonna name names,
a series called Scam City on British television, and he would go to like various places, but it was always about like
get robbed. Is he still alive?
He's still alive. He's like
he got murdered in the Czech Republic.
He's a young dude. I don't know. Every time I watched him, I always felt like he was a bit of a walking leather jacket. Like
what does that mean?
I have no idea what that means.
He was always like, I'm here, and he's What I mean is like he was like, I'm dangerous and cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got TV crew with you, buddy. You're not going to get killed.
Right.
You're not going to get killed confronting this.
We're here in the slums of Oslo.
Exactly. But he'd be like, we're here in Bolivia, and like it was genuinely but he
murder
acted
capital.
Like,
right.
It's just like a woman is like, you want a massage or not? Why are you in front of cameras?
One of these guys who like wears like desert boots and stuff like that in a city, and like always had a high collared leather jacket on, and was like married to Phoebe Waller-Bridge for a minute actually.
Really?
But like. But yeah, this guy was. I think this guy's a bit of a tool. But I mean, like it was a good. Like if you're interested in scams, it was interesting. But it was mostly like in Europe. The one thing I learned from watching the show was that most of the European scams seem to center on young men in Italy and France trying to get sex from tourists.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
Just like we're going every day to the same place and trying to have like a meet cute.
Yeah.
And like pulling up on a moped and taking their helmet off and like shaking out their hair and being like, "Señorita," it was very.
Wait, hold on. What's this scam? Can you walk us through it?
Yeah, I don't get this.
What are you talking about?
I thought you were saying most of the scams in Italy, it's horny guys who are the targets.
No, horny guys who are the perpetrators.
Okay, and then what's the scam?
The scam is the scam is for sex and not for money.
Oh, I have a story I'll tell you based on this.
Well, the scam is that these guys every single day try the same move.
Yeah, they
pretend to be. By the way, they literally will have fake identities, pretend to be someone they're not, and have.
Oh,
like
I see what you're saying.
They'll go to the Coliseum,
pussy. Okay,
and then try to meet an American girl who's like, "Wow, a real Italian."
Yeah, but they do it every single day for years. It's like
just some dude from New
Jersey.
Then
ghost them completely. Yeah. It's like a real.
Well, yeah. I mean, my friend was born from one of those scams. That's how his mom and dad met.
No way.
Yeah. So his dad.
Does he ever know his dad?
Talk about illegitimate.
Oh, I mean, he's got such a dirty story with his father. We'll bring him on the podcast at some point. He's very, very psychologically unhealthy person. But yeah, his dad, basically what he did is he would go to like the tourist place in Rome. He met his mom. He would say, "Do you want to go for a bike ride?" He would take her through an intentionally muddy path. They would get mud on her dress. And then he'd be like, "Oh no, you have mud on your dress. I have a cabin around the corner. We should go to the cabin so we can wash your clothes." And then they're both like in their underwear washing the clothes in the cabin. And then they would fuck. And then he got her pregnant. And then that's how he was born.
Wow.
And he would just do that. And he was like, he went back to Italy to meet his dad. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did that every weekend for years.
Honestly, I think a lot of people meet like that, though.
Yeah.
I
these
mean,
days.
that is a really, really specific trick.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, and intentionally muddy. By the way, I could see that
it's
being
the old
like,
muddy path cabin trick.
Yeah, and then there's 5,000 American women who all have kids from the man from the muddy path.
Yeah.
Right.
God, my kid always has my kid has a penchant for like someone's like, yeah, he's really good on the bike, and they're like, don't say anything. He gets that from his dad.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Two people meet, they look alike, they never met. They're like, muddy path guy. Like, oh.
Man, it is so.
But that's not really a scam because you can. That's just people kind of being dishonest to get laid, or people having like a strategy. I mean, that's like saying, oh, this guy runs a scam. He goes with women and gets coffee, and then he has sex with them, and then he says, I'm not really emotionally available right now.
When you do it in an industrial scale, I think it qualifies as something gross. And also, when you're engineering. It's disingenuous, and it's designed to get something from somebody else that they wouldn't otherwise give if they know the whole story, which I think is a scam.
Yeah.
All right.
I
think textbook but yes, it's not what we think about, and that's not a money scheme or a confidence game.
What makes it a scam is that there has to be a money exchange. The person is still giving something up under false pretenses.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's so much dishonesty in dating. Like, is fucking wearing a hat if you're bald, that's a scam because maybe she wouldn't have fucked you.
On a small scale, sure. There are variant. A scam is a variant of dishonesty.
I love how
sending
two Jews on the podcast and they're like, let's define scam.
Yeah.
You have a scam podcast
and draw the parameters for what makes a scam.
Sending a dick pic where your dick looks
you're right.
bigger, that's a little bit of a scam.
You have a scam.
And let me tell you something, when you take it out, they think they've been scammed. Yeah.
By the way, if I'm going to take that seriously for a second, if you stuff your pants, that's a small scale scam. A scam is just dishonesty.
But sure, but there's it's very rare that you have pure honesty between human interactions. Everybody's, you meet people, they're usually trying to be nicer the first time. Is that a scam? People are trying to be nice for first impressions. If you start dating someone, who they really are comes out. So in that sense, there's always a level of like you're not seeing the truth about a person, and it takes time to kind of see that. Right? Yeah.
I mean, like, there's always an element of...
But there's a difference between doing it on purpose and, like, eventually you find out who I am.
So you're talking about, like, what makes it a scam for you is, like, the pre-calculation.
What makes it a scam for me
pretending like something is...
I'm going to put this wig on so she doesn't think I'm bald and I have a better chance.
What makes it a scam for me is the industrial scale. What makes it a scam for me is the fact that everyone who is... The fact that it's happening to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is to me the scam. And also, if you wear a hat because you're bald, if you wear a toupee because you're bald, you could make an argument that that's a scam, and you could make an argument that the argument that you just made is that modern life is a bit of a scam. I mean, social interaction is a bit of a scam, and it is that. Like we tend to think of scams as something that gets money out of people, but like you can scam some like. If you have a bunch of different families in different cities, that's a scam.
Well, but we just went from wearing a hat to having multiple families.
And there's a scale. There's
one's small, one's big.
There's doing this to Dan and then killing 100 people. They're both acts.
They're both scams.
They're both.
Yeah. You owe me now.
Do you hear about the Armenian scam?
Yeah.
I mean, like
some people deny the Armenian scam.
Yeah.
But it is like there are scales. I'm not saying this is a scam. I'm saying that there's a scale of violence. Yes. Me doing that is like like punching Dan's arm very lightly is a small, tiny, violent act.
Don't ever touch me on that.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. But then there's murder, and you're like, well, how can you compare punching someone in the arm and murder? And you're like, they're both violent.
Right.
They're two things can share a characteristic without being
degrees of the same thing.
But yes, but you are right though, Santiago, that the two are not the same. I just think that, by the way, if you're sleeping with a different person every single day and promising a fantasy that's not real, that is a scam. Also, is promising a fantasy that's not real.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it's selling something that you have no intention of actually giving them. Right? Maybe that's where that comes in. But then maybe it's also, I don't know. What if the guy is not presenting this fantasy, but just aware that fantasy exists in people's heads and is just exploiting, the fact that people, that people are like, wow, I'm in Paris, I'm in fucking Rome, it's so romantic.
Exploiting an archetype, sure. And by the way, that's what happened to me with this tea ceremony. And you know what? I thought to myself, I'm happy
they saw you and they were like, this is a white dude who loves Japanese culture.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Well, he was in Japan and is a white dude. So
I was in Japan and I was
on the vacation.
I was enjoying it. And also, you know what? That's part of the.
I do want to bring it back to this. How was the tea ceremony?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was. It felt a tiny bit slapdash in one or two parts, but I thought it was. It was worth the $300, but clearly not worth $300. Like it was. For me, it was worth $300, but also that's the price of being a tourist. Like there is. A bribe in certain countries is the price of doing business.
There's no way to get around it.
A bashish in the Middle East is basically it means tip, but it's not a tip. It's hey, you don't know, you're not from around here.
You're in the desert.
Yeah.
If I leave, you're dead.
If you want this bottled water, you're paying $65 for it. So that is the
right.
That's what it. That's how it goes in some of these places. So yeah, it's a scam, but it's also like, Japanese. Have you heard of Paris syndrome?
No. What is it?
So Japanese culture has a really beautiful fixation with French culture, which is why like French pastries made by Japanese bakeries are as good. Like
I've seen those Instagram videos. Yeah,
they love French baking. They love Paris. It stems from a couple of movies in the 70s and 80s in Japan that went huge from France, and they think of Paris as this sort of idealized thing. Paris syndrome or Paris shokugan is when Japanese people in particular, but it can be anyone, when people go to Paris and they're so let down
by the idea
by Paris versus what they thought it was going to be, they experience like mental health problem. They have to be like hospitalized and stuff like that. Like it happens a couple years
because the Eiffel Tower wasn't big enough.
That
so
Paris
dramatic.
is so shitty to them that they're like, we need to go to the hospital, and it affects mostly people from Japan and places like that. It's so fascinating to me that they're like, because Paris is
there
a
a unit
city.
in a Paris hospital filled with depressed Japanese people?
I have absolutely no idea, but like
they're on life support. It's really bad.
You can Wikipedia this, and people are like, it's not a recognized mental disorder, but like it happens to people. People get upset because it's
he's going to be chronically disappointed.
They built it up so much, and then they get so let down.
Which is so funny to me.
And then you go back, and you were like, what were those movies in the 70s that gave people this idealized version of Paris? And it was like Japanese man gets blown in Paris.
Oh my gosh.
Last Tango in Paris. That's the only thing.
I would love to know what actually it was though. Aren't you kind of curious? I'm like, probably like a rom-com.
Well, I mean, but there's this cartoonish
Paris.
There's this cartoonishness to that disorder where it's like, I expected to New York to be a different thing than what it is, and now I live here, but I've had that with every single city. Dan and I met in Berlin, right? I expected Berlin to be a different thing from what it was. Like you imagine that you take like a moment, right? Like you take like being on ecstasy at a party in that height, and you're like, that's what living in Berlin is. And then you go there, and it's like it's a lot of like getting groceries and waiting in lines.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is there's a priest, I can't remember his name, but he said that we are our most ourselves on vacation because we're untethered from the social conventions and banalities of modern life from where we're from, and we're untethered from the social conventions and banalities of modern life where
that
we are.
That dude hated his job.
Because we're essentially contextless, right?
We're landless
and habitless.
And there's something and there's something gorgeous about that. And by the way, I felt that on this. I'm only in town for a couple of days. I'll be back a bunch. I come back to New York a lot, and it's a wonderful city for me. But the change of pace has been good for me relative to my sort of life in LA. I wake up, I do this, I do that, and here it's like, I don't have a centered routine that's the same as the one that I've developed in COVID for the last 12 months. So like it's really nice to be back, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to be back in New York all the time, and maybe I should just move back immediately. But like, it would be the same thing as you said.
You don't like the place you're at. You like being on vacation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like you
Everybody does.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying people go to vacation at a place and they're like, wow, this place is amazing. I liked it so much. It's like maybe what you liked was not having a job, not having to fucking get up early,
being able to spend a lot of money and not like worry about it.
Also, you like the variety of experience. That is a really important thing. Like I was
the novelty of everything.
I was walking through the West Village and watching, in the evening yesterday, and people were sitting there eating dinner. And I was like, I could walk by people eating dinner on a sidewalk for the rest of my life.
Really, meanwhile, now I fucking hate it because it's been a year of people on sidewalks. And you're like, you know how many waiters have almost trampled me because they're trying to bring food from the kitchen to the other side of the sidewalk where people are walking across.
It's
exacerbated an already intense parking situation.
Right.
It's very annoying to have the restaurant industry outside.
Like, on public space, basically.
On public space blocking your commute.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I haven't been here in a minute, I was like, so romantic. I walked by like a mannequin store and I took a photo and sent it to my girlfriend. She's like, creepy. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Was the headless mannequin?
I didn't think about that at all. But
it had her name carved into it. Yeah.
It is.
They're good at getting this. Yeah.
Dude, it was so special, though, to be back for the first time. And, like, I feel like I haven't been a tourist in a long time. But during the pandemic, we're still at the, feels like we're in, like, the bottom of the eighth on this pandemic.
Yeah,
but
it feels like it's over.
Feels like it's really winding down. I'm double vaccinated with 2 weeks. That's, I feel like, pretty much set. But
that's all you can do, really.
Yeah.
It's unless you want to stay home indefinitely for years, like all you can do is get the double vaccine and get any other recommended boosters or whatever.
I'm so thrilled to have it. But like we did a lot of hiking, went to like Zion and shit, which was amazing.
Oh wow, you're a Zionist.
A
leg Zionist.
I'm a Zionist in both respects. I like Zion the bank and Zion the park.
What is Zion? The two most well-known respects, the bank and the park.
Zion Bank, the official bank of the Church of Latter-day Saints. And
where is Zion?
Zion is a national park in Utah.
Okay.
It's got two of America's best-known hikes.
Yeah.
3, actually, but 2 of, like, the 5 best hikes in the world, probably, which is Angel's Landing, which is this gorgeous hike. It's a via ferrata. It's, which means guided path. You have chains on both sides.
Yeah.
And you go up this mountain, and it's stunning. And the other is the Narrows, which is my favorite thing I've ever hiked ever. It's a water path.
Yeah.
And you hike through the water.
Yeah.
And it's like ankle high, shin high water for most of it, and you're in this deep canyon.
Do you wear like rubber boots or do you go barefoot?
You need water shoes or you're absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Because there are rocks underneath, and you need a walking stick, otherwise you're going into that water.
Yeah.
You need a long beard and you need a rope. But otherwise you won't get into the cave.
Exactly. It's exactly like that.
And a ring. You need a ring, a very special ring.
Exactly.
But it's gorgeous. It's so stunning, and the photos that like I saw didn't do it justice, and the photos I took didn't do it justice. But like you'll be at literally the bottom of a 1,600 foot canyon, and it's just and you're in water, or it'll be like 100 degrees outside, but it's 65 where you are because you're so far away from the sun.
Right.
And it was like the water was perfect and kind of warm, and like it was just one of the best things I've ever gotten to do. It was so cool. But yeah, during the pandemic, like hiking was all there was because the outdoors was all that was open.
Right.
Which is so sick.
Yeah, I was just going to parks with friends, like drive to Jersey, and they were just in the middle of like this park in Jersey, and we're just looking at each other like, whatever, this is our life now. Is it just if we want to do anything, we have to go into the woods and build a fire.
Good. Maybe that's
and drink.
Maybe that's a little bit good. Like maybe that there's like a sense of like, okay, we're all a little bit outdoors again.
We're getting back to the earth.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting drunk on Jack Daniels and,
and
shooting guns into a fucking fire I made out of like a chair that I found in the woods.
It didn't feel good at the time.
No, of course.
It was very much what has happened to life.
1,000%. But imagine what this life would be. This life would have been like the last couple of months, the last 12 months, last year, without the outdoors, without parks, without green spaces. We would be
Yeah, well, you won't have to imagine it. Give it 10 years, and
Yeah,
you'll be right there.
yeah.
You know, I really hope.
see.
I think this has restored people's love of conservation in a huge way. Like Joshua Tree, my friend Christian is a ranger in Joshua Tree, and he's like, we are getting so many more visitors. We're getting so much more revenue. Thank God, because it is the only thing that is open. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like obviously but like Utah is like a huge chunk of Utah is owned by the Bureau of Land Management, and like, which is sick. Like it's pretty cool that like there's a
BLM?
lot of the BLM.
Yeah, I support them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I support all. I'm not going to make a
People-
joke around
There's
this. I will
people
not
at
do
the
it.
protest being
Yeah.
like Bureau of Land Management, and they're like, "Sorry,
Bureau
this
of
is
Land
this is a
Management.
different protest."
Yeah.
All land management.
Yeah.
All land management. And we're like,
Yeah.
come on, man. You know what we're saying.
Yeah.
It's insane that people that it was so that it was like the only thing that was open. But by the way, I went to some park and they were in LA and they're like, we're closed, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. They're like, "Yeah, we're just waiting until it makes sense to reopen.
I
Yeah.
was
We're just
like,
waiting for a good time."
Talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was weird is watching right now where we are now at the pandemic, watching people who won't listen to the science, who are holding on to measures that like make no sense caution-wise.
like still wearing masks outdoors and like
Yeah.
refusing.
Well, like an
refusing
outdoor-
to follow the updated.
Exactly. Like an outdoor, like I get
Regulations.
if you're wearing a mask outdoors in New York City, but if you're like, I live in Denver, I'm
Yeah.
like, your population density is a very low.
Yeah, you're
People
fine.
Lysoling their groceries still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you
Well,
doing?
they just like the taste now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Spicy.
there's a lot of misinformation out there, sure, but like the people who seem to not want to let go of the pandemic or not want
Right.
to put this behind us are like, I have a friend in LA who's like, we're going to have to, it's not safe to come out of the house for another 2 years. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
I will not be doing this.
personally, I think that person has an incredible anxiety about leaving the house, and they're just like making.
If you have a
excuses.
social anxiety, I totally understand
Yeah,
that. To
yeah,
not
yeah.
be able to socialize for a year, like there's someone who I really respect and admire on Twitter, and we were made a plan to go for a walk. One of the few times I like actually made a friend from social media, and then
Will Smith?
she was like, yeah, well, it's Chrissy Teigen.
This guy, he's
And-
also a friend of the podcast, so yeah.
But I was like, hey, she sent me a text. She's like, hey, I'm sorry to do this, but I just can't socialize right now.
Yeah.
I'm like just not there yet. And I was like, and I know this person has social anxiety, and I was like, okay, let me know if you need anything or if I can do anything. Like, I
Right.
totally get that. But if someone's like, it's not safe, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're creating something where people in like people who are insanely on the other side of the spectrum can point at and be like, see, that's crazy. The whole
Yeah,
thing must
right.
be crazy.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
But
I
it-
see. It's a good
Yeah.
argument.
It's also, I think it's people trying to regain a sense of control. Like this pandemic shows you how much things are out of your control.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how powerless you
Well
are.
said.
And then people are like, well, how can I regain some of this power? It's like, well, I can be really anal about what I do and don't do, and
Such a weird.
it's like bulimia, right? It's like people who are no, it's the same deal. If it's about like controlling.
Yeah. Fauci said the same thing actually on
Yeah.
TV, that social anxiety caused by the pandemic can be compared to bulimia.
Yeah.
And he had a nice little chart too.
Right.
Wait, I want to hear this point. What do you mean? Yes. Okay, I understand. The element of control, an unhealthy element of control. in
Right.
life.
Yeah. Exactly. Where it's like you become this control freak, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna be able to do this, and then I'm gonna eat this, and then purge this, and it's yeah, I don't.
It seems very. I don't know. It seems like really tough. It seems like a tough. I don't know. It's literally an unprecedented time. So I'm like patient to an extent, but like kids should be getting ready to go back to school. Like kids should be going back to school around now.
Right.
Like we are. The effects of the pandemic are worse than are definitely way worse than like all the lockdown measures. But like let's not pretend that certain people haven't made sacrifices. Like students in any field, like they have gotten a much worse
Could you imagine being
experience.
a freshman on Zoom? You know,
My brother's
what,
a
you just
senior in college.
You're just blacking out alone in your room.
I
you know,
think, yeah.
My brother's a senior at MIT, and he's
Yeah.
like,
damn, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, a senior at MIT should be meeting a bazillion people.
He could have been staring at the floor, not talking to girls. Can you believe he missed out on all this?
You put a sock on your door to masturbate?
There's a joke at MIT that an introvert at MIT is someone who looks at their shoes when they're talking to you. An extrovert is someone who looks at your shoes when they're talking to you. Right. It's a really cute little thing.
Right.
But yeah, he should be he should be meeting people. College is all about meeting people.
Well, yeah, he should be making those networking shit to get a job after college.
No, I mean the people you meet in college are more important than college.
Right.
The people that you spend time with and develop friendship groups and understand social dynamics of adults and start to learn tough lessons about dating and social anxiety, that growth experience, that in-person growth experience is as important as fucking figuring out when the Battle of Hastings was.
Yeah.
1066. But it's fucking morons don't know. I knew that shit in kindergarten. I don't know about you.
Yeah, thank God you got that right, because if
Dr. Books over here.
Yeah.
Would you have called me on it if I
I would have gone off when people get that date wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. Did you have any more scam stuff? I think we.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, not sorry. But
5 minutes left. I killed a girl. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, I was Bernie Madoff's second in command.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I did? I used a fake email address, or I used someone else's email address anytime I needed to give an email address for a sign-in anywhere.
Yeah. Like when you don't want to give your actual email address, you use this person's
and I would
address.
always check. Please keep me updated about offers and things like that.
Is it somebody you disliked?
Just the email address was
Barack Obama at president.com. Yeah.
So the email address was, I won't tell you what it was at.
Give it to Harassment Army, our listeners.
Turd Ferguson at something.com. Turd Ferguson's a joke from SNL. I think it's very funny.
Yeah.
So your friend made this email.
I don't know the guy at all. I've never met the guy.
Yeah.
Don't know him. But I started using it for
I see.
So I was in an airport lounge in
You got to imagine
Dublin.
Whoever has test@gmail.com is that email's useless.
Not test.
Yeah.
Turd
I
Ferg.
know, I understand, but
right,
there's certain emails where it's just
they must
it's such a
disable
common
them, right?
thing that they're just these are unusable emails.
They must disable those emails, right? They surely have to.
Yeah. Or they'll get abandoned even if they don't.
Yeah,
right?
because they're impossible.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
insane and unmanageable. But
yeah.
So I put in Turd Ferguson for everything for years, and then I'm in an airport lounge, and I use it to sign into the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I get paged to the front of the lounge.
Yeah.
But not me.
Yeah.
The guy over the phone goes, "Will a Mr. Ferguson please come?" I'm like, "Oh, they saw, and I'm gonna get chastised."
You wake up, Turd here.
And I walk up and I went, "I think me," because this is literally 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Hold on, it's for you," and he hands me the phone.
Yeah.
And this guy on the other end goes, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
And I'm like, "What?" And he went, "I just got a notification that I signed into this Wi-Fi in this lounge. I've never even been to that city. I get emails from Melbourne. I get emails from Edinburgh. Wow. I get emails from Milwaukee. I get emails from, because I've been using it for years."
And you were an international traveling comedian.
I was a comedian traveling, and he went, "Who are you?" And I went, "Well, it could be a bunch of people, and not just me." And he went, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "My name's Danny. I live in Vero Beach." And I was like, "Where's Vero Beach?" He's like, "Florida." And I went, "Are you a big SNL fan?" And he went, "What?" And I was like, "You a big SNL fan?" And he went, "I'm gonna find you." And that's how he. So I never found out he was big SNL, but he went, "I'm gonna find you," and I am proud of this. I just went, "Game on, Turd," and I handed the phone back to the guy.
That's great.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's a scam, but I still occasionally use the email address, or I'll send an email to the guy from an anonymous. You can get a temp email address. I'll be like, "Danny, hope you're well." It's a really
really you'll write him messages.
I'll taunt him. Yeah,
really.
I feel bad. Well, he was such a turd on the phone.
Wait, when was this?
The last time I bothered him was 2018.
But when did the call happen?
2013.
Yeah.
Wow. So 5 years later, you were like, I'm still out there
Playing the long game,
Yeah.
letting you know the Jason board. But one day there's just going to be a
That's
guy
psychotic.
Like, Edelman, because one day I'm going to slip. One day I'm going to slip
You
up.
literally just said it here.
Well, I
Yeah,
didn't say
that's
what
right.
the ad email. And by the way, I didn't say intentionally because it's not Gmail.
Yeah, but dude, there's a limited set unless it's at Michigan University. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
I'll tell you, it's short.
It's Hotmail, Yahoo. Like there's like 6 email servers people use.
This
AOL.
is very findable.
Yeah.
It's over.
I'm not saying which
I
one.
didn't say that last
In
one.
fact,
I'm not saying which one it is.
In fact, we have a little surprise for you today. Come here, Turd.
It's Danny
Turd
from
Ferguson.
Vero the
yeah,
Dance.
yeah.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think it's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I know it's just a Burt Reynolds, Norm Macdonald thing. Norm
Right.
Macdonald's so funny.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's great.
Sorry, I just I saw
You're right.
him.
We should have him on the podcast one day. Yeah,
You should. He'd probably have some good. He loves a flim flam.
I don't think he does. He doesn't do people's fucking podcasts. I think
No,
he's like
no.
old school to
He's
the
a-
point that
he's a hermit.
he wants to be on television because he considers that like legit, and everything else is kind of bullshit.
But I think he loves a. God, this watch keeps breaking. I fixed my dad's watch and it's like not really fixed. And
Yeah.
occasionally I'll check it and people will be like, "What, are you bored?" And I'm like, "No, I just want to." I have a tick now where I'm like desperate to make sure that this watch is working.
Yeah. Also, why do you have a watch from the 40s?
Why don't you
From
take
the
it?
50s or 60s? I should take it to a professional.
Yeah,
and be
just
like,
take it. What do you think you're gonna fix it by just resetting the time?
Well,
every
but you
20 minutes?
wind it. It's a self wind. It's a watch that doesn't self wind. So I've got to like constantly be winding this watch.
Yeah.
And I did joke about it last night for the first time.
Yeah.
Which is, I think there's something gloriously petty about a watch that doesn't work unless you give it attention.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, if you don't have time for me, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a pun.
That's the punchline. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pun. It's a pun.
It's
But it
cute.
got a good laugh. It got a decent
It's
laugh.
cute. It's cute.
I did a show last night that was such a good show. It was at City Winery.
Yeah.
It was me, Sam Morrill, Mark Normand,
Yeah.
Marina Franklin, Judy Gold,
Yeah.
who I love, hosted by Will Sylvans and Cyber Sounds, and John Mulaney.
Wow, that's great.
John didn't host. It was his first set back in like
Yeah.
2 years, and
Yeah.
it was. And I won't say anything more about it because I'm sure he's like. It was just working shit out.
He just announced a run of shows
at
next
City
week.
Winery
Yeah.
at the same venue.
I'm going. I got tickets.
You did?
Yeah.
It was special.
Yeah.
Also, I had to follow it, by the way.
Yeah. Oh,
he
wow.
did
You had to
30
go-
minutes, and by the way,
And then you had to go up and be like, "What's up with my watch?"
I literally.
I don't have time for you. You
John,
don't have
John
time
Mulaney's
for me.
like, "I just got out of rehab,"
Yeah.
and he's telling this life-changing story.
Yeah.
He was. It was one of the most
Yeah.
brilliant things I've ever seen.
Why would they not let him fucking close?
Yeah.
Why would
I
they-
think he was just wanted to drop in and
Yeah.
dip out, and
Yeah.
it was a show that started at 8:30, and they. But man, it was crazy because Judy Cole was supposed to go next, but she wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they looked at me and they're like, "I'm watching Mulaney. I'm literally, and also I love Edinburgh. I love Melbourne. So to me, I love my comedy with like a little bit of pathos and interest and specificity mixed in. So like, and Mulaney's one of my favorite comedians. So
Right.
he's doing this
So
thing it's
You're
perfect.
more watching it than
I'm-
being ready for your set.
I'm watching it
yeah.
and not just watching it, but like absorbing it and working through it and trying to follow the craftsmanship and seeing the specific experience of a guy who's been away from stand-up for a very long time doing
Right.
stand-up about something very personal and brilliantly wrought. And then Will Smith is like, "You're next," and I'm like, "No, Judy Gold is next," and he's like, "Judy's not here," and I'm like, fuck, Judy's not here. Like,
Yeah.
but you know what was helpful actually is
He's like,
maybe
oh, I'm
being-
sorry. I thought you were Judy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I loved your book.
She's.
You just
She's
go along
so
with it. It's like,
great.
sure, hey, everybody, I'm Judy.
You should
I
write
wish.
a book.
I
You should
should've.
write a book called the Comedy Torah.
Yeah.
That would be so relentlessly on brand for me.
It's 3 times as long.
Yeah.
It's 3 times as long as the Torah.
Yeah,
It would be
it's
such-
rules about jokes you can't make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
man, that's for me. It'd be like 2
You
pages.
can't
of
have
jokes.
these two set. You can't have these 2 types of jokes in one set.
Yeah.
You need to choose. You need
Yes,
to, you need
that's
to
exactly
keep
like
them
Will
separate.
and Lennon.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
funny. It's
yeah.
good deep
Yeah.
cuts knowledge.
No
of
jokes
Judaism.
about cheese and meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no jokes.
You can do a joke about meat, but no cheese tags.
I used to say that all of my jokes, you can do all of my jokes on the Sabbath because none of them work.
Oh,
Ah.
wow.
That was,
Please tell me that was your first joke.
I gave it to another comedian and who still uses it.
He used it on stage
Yeah.
and got murdered.
That
was-
comedian,
He was,
Chris Rock.
Yeah, he was murdered by Turd Ferguson.
Yeah.
It's such a bad.
Right.
But I was about to go on, and Marina Franklin is like, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
And she is like, "They just want to be entertained." And for some reason,
yeah.
I was like, "No, yeah, they just want to be entertained." Like,
Yeah.
she's right. It's just people. Who
So
wanna
you
hear
He's
some-
like,
you went on?
You don't understand.
Yeah, I went on.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great. It was a really.
How'd it go?
It was one of the. It was a great. It was great. It was a great crowd. It's a great venue. It was like one of the most. It will be probably one of the most memorable sets of my life. But my first line on stage was like, "So what'd the last guy talk about?"
Yeah.
But it was really cool, and he is like a comedy god to me. It was
Yeah,
like
no,
a
yeah,
really-
he's fucking amazing.
and his it's so funny. His craftsmanship combined with such a unique perspective, combined with such a intense life experience, is I'm sure going to yield like the most special.
You think he's gonna have
thing.
like the next special he puts out is gonna be nuts?
I think he's a guy who's going from strength to strength as it is. So I can imagine. I'm not a pundit, but or a critic, but I think that he is pound for pound probably one of the best comics alive right now. And he's gonna be talking. I think he's talking about this really amazing experience, and I'm sure next week he'll be doing that. So.
Yeah.
Or maybe he won't be. Maybe he'll decide that it's too.
He goes back. Yeah, he just goes back to talking about food or whatever.
But he might
Working
make it
on
equally
SNL.
compelling. He's super like. I was like, God, this guy is so different. He's at the top of his game.
Yeah.
And he was like truly. And by the way, maybe I'm not supposed to be talking about it. I have no idea, but it was so cool and amazing to watch. It's so rare to see a set where you're just captivated and never wanting it to end.
Yeah.
And he partied with us afterwards. It was great. Yeah. It was amazing, man.
He was
doing
really,
rails, man. That dude knows how to party, man.
Come on.
Yeah.
Show some professional courtesy.
Yeah, exactly. Let him take the first line.
Show some professional
Mulaney's
courtesy.
after. I was like, great. He's like, let's get some whores.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
That's your colleague.
Hey, what did I say about touching me?
I'm sure you're right.
Okay,
You're
no,
right.
we got to end it now.
no,
I've been touched twice.
I wanted to. I mean, that sounds great. That sounds like a great
It was
night,
amazing.
A
Yeah,
great
it's
set.
comedy coming back. I think people will realize how much they miss comedy and how incredible comedy is.
Oh yeah. I
It's
mean,
really amazing.
we've been doing these shows in the park where we
So excited.
we were the first. Yeah, you're doing it tomorrow. We were kind of like the first shows to come back because we figured out how to do it outside, and it was just like you forget. What a lot of comics said. I think Ryan Donahue said this to me. It's like you forget what we're doing is that it's fucking people coming together and talking about, like, it's like this ancient tradition of just like, let's gather and then let's
so
let
basic,
people talk.
yeah.
And you get so caught up in like the fame and how funny am I and how funny was the last guy or whatever that you forget that it's like a human thing of like, let's come together and fucking do something.
Yeah.
And also people
you know?
watching other
The
people.
only thing modern about it is the amplification.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't even need that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice to have. It's really
Yeah.
great to have. But also, like,
Michael Winslow's like, hey, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a special time, like, in terms of like a comedy show where all you need is a room and a thought.
Yeah.
Like, just a really gorgeous,
Well, and a
glorious
person.
thing. Yeah, to do it with. Otherwise, it's
Yeah. Or just a guy in a room.
otherwise it's a rant.
Thinking.
But
Dan's like,
Yeah.
well, you also need oxygen for them to breathe.
yeah, but you're right.
Like,
you need
yeah.
chair. You need
Hyper
chairs.
pedantic.
technically,
Eventually, that person will have to pee, so they should have a
There should
bathroom
be bathrooms
somewhere.
and food, perhaps.
But it's
at
the
some point.
cheapest form of entertainment. Like, it's the cheapest form of entertainment
It's
to
the
produce.
lowest overhead.
It's
That's
all
why
there.
Netflix is fucking all in on it,
Yeah.
right? Because for other shit, they're like, you need a set designer and all this, and they're like, how about we just get one person and then, you know.
Pay them
That's a
$3
really-
million, and then
yeah.
that's it. We're done.
It's really something.
I wanted to talk about this real quick. So we met on a rooftop,
Yeah.
doing a show. You had mentioned when I told you this show was about scams, the first thing that you said was, "Oh, well, I did a bunch of fringe stuff, and there's a bunch of scams there." Did anything come to mind about that, or if you don't want to get into it, you don't have to.
Not to get to, but the fringe is the artist gets paid last, and I
Yeah.
think people would love to change that system, and I would love to change that, be part of a system that changes that. The free fringe is really good for that. Also, there are people who deserve to get paid. The venue staff and the venue take huge risks all the time, and I will probably do the Pleasance in Edinburgh for the rest of my life because they took shots on me early on when I was a money loser, and still were like,
Yeah.
But the fact that the reason that certain that the festival is a money loser for so many different parties is because so many people are taking money out of it. And the Fringe is like, if anyone's listening doesn't know, the Fringe is like 3,800 comedy shows a day.
Yeah.
It's so much comedy. And a lot of it is designed, and the big money things are designed to take money out of the artist's pocket.
The book of the shows is a phone book.
It literally is.
Yeah.
Literally a phone book of shows.
Like thin pages. And it's listed like phone, but it's not like a show a page.
It's alphabetical, which is why like
it's alphabetical and you go
Every
through
show's
it.
comedy
That's a thing
showcase.
that people
AAA
do.
comedy show, but that is because people open
Yeah.
up to the first thing and they're like, okay, there it is. And like
Yeah.
it freaking, there are aspects of the Fringe that are really troubling and really a shame. And I mean, and sometimes I hear about comedians in debt from their shows, and I'm like, no comic should be in debt from performing, even if one person comes. Like, it should be it should be. And there are, by the way, producers who, and some people do it differently. The Stand for years, I don't know if they still do. The Stand
in the UK
did it differently.
yeah.
But like, it is really a shame to watch comics go somewhere and do it, show that they've poured a lot of time and energy into, and leave in debt or broke.
Right.
The year I won the award there, I broke even.
Yeah.
I sold every
That's
ticket
the award
for the last couple of weeks.
Congratulations, here's your money back.
It was legitimately like, and by the way, I didn't even like break all the way even. I think it was still like 200 pounds, 300 pounds.
Right.
Like I think I was a couple of pounds in the red.
Yeah.
And the
But what did you
producers-
sell out most of the shows?
I sold out once. I mean, the first shows were empty, and then once I started to get some reviews and a little bit of notice, but still, my second year, I sold out all of my shows from the start, and I didn't make much money. I made I made low four figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but like
for a month of work.
For a month of work, I
Yeah.
lost money when you throw in expenses and
Flight, accommodations, food.
But you know what I did make? I made money on the little spots where you get paid a couple hundred pounds. Those were a godsend to me.
A couple $100?
No, that's
Some
great.
of them,
Really?
the assembly ones with like a couple hundred people. Yeah, those are good money.
Wow.
But like those spots are few and far between,
Yeah.
and I needed them. They were my lifeblood. Or the free Fringe show that I was doing on the side, you'd get a little bit of.
Right.
But holy moly, it was like, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's like it's a really tough time, and I think the Fringe has now, so many people are taking money from it at every step of the way. The comics are the ones that get shafted because they want their shows.
Yeah.
They are the only ones who they're
Yeah.
weird because they're indispensable, because they know they have to do it. A lot of comics end up.
Yeah. There's also, it needs to be said, there's no bar for entry, period.
No bar for entry.
Like there are comics there that would be like, I'm performing comedy for the first time and I've sunk $1,000.
Oh yeah, there are idiots there
and
too.
it's like, you fool.
There are lots of fools. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes someone tells me, they're like, I'm going up, and I'm like, and they're like, I'm just gonna try to get my hour out of this, and I'm like, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because people
Yeah.
there don't want to see you work shit out. They want
Yeah.
to see you
You want
kill.
to see a show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to see you, and Americans make that mistake all the time.
Well, but the
by way.
difference is, though, I mean, it's because I did that,
Yeah.
we were living in Berlin, and I had maybe an hour of material, probably 30 minutes, and I was like, I'm just going to go try to do an hour 22 times just to fucking
But if that's
do
what
it
you want
in
to
a
get
tiny
out of
room.
it, that's what you want to get out of it. Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
not looking to win anything or be big or have a career in the UK, and you're just like, I just need stage time every day to work out an hour, then it's a good way to do it.
I
And
think it's a waste of
maybe,
an opportunity.
maybe
but that's just
not.
me.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think. By the way, I went in 2013 just for stage time, but I
Yeah.
did spots. I
Right.
ran a show.
Oh
every
yeah, you
day
do
where I
that
did
too. Yeah,
spots.
yeah.
And then in 2014, I ran that show and did my solo show.
Yeah.
I've always been really intense about Edinburgh. I do not do Edinburgh. I do 100 sets a year. I do 100 sets in that month.
Yeah.
When I'm in Edinburgh, it's an important time for me.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's like a really hard festival, and it gets made harder by all of the people who are taking cash out of the printers, the this, the that, the little fees.
There's such a weird economy that pops up.
The Free Fringe has been great for circumventing that, but there are also, it's the housing market there is insane.
Yeah.
You're paying
It's more expensive than here.
You're paying $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
$3,000 for your month to stay. It's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
£100 a night.
Yeah.
Like, this is unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's laughable. And by the way, thankfully, I'm in a position where when I go back, I'm no longer, make some money from it.
Yeah.
But tenuous for most of the comedians there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
It's awful.
Especially if you're in the UK, you probably know some people there, and you can take the train up, and it's. But if you're flying in and you're going in blind, like a lot of UK comics, they come in as like a group of 5 and get a house together, and they can get a good deal. And somebody's aunt has a fucking apartment,
sure.
Right? But if you're coming in with no connections, it's like you're getting fucking hosed.
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah. All right. We got to wrap it up. I think you got to go. Unless you have anything else you want to get into.
But I gotta go. But thanks for having me.
This was great.
Thank you for doing it.
Sorry for digressing.
No, it's who gives a shit. It's fun. All right.
Please don't digress ever. Again.
Yeah,
I won't. I'm so sorry.
Any plugs? Anything you want to plug?
I've got a comedy album that I love called Until Now that came out last year.
Okay, great.
I'm very proud of it. So if anyone feels like Spotifying or Pandoring my comedy album Until Now, I would appreciate that. It's called Until Now.
Until Now. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Alex Edelman, and my Twitter is Alex Edelman also. So
there you go. Follow Alex.
Really and please email turdferguson at .net.
Yeah. .net.
You can follow me at Daniel Lewis Veza.
At Santiago is Dead. Check out our show at Take It Outside Comedy. Thank you guys. See you next time.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Bye.
Bye.